Ready. Fight.
Hi folks, thanks for coming on to the SHTF first video I made for this. When boxers go against street fighters, it's not a simple question of how to win. There are so many dynamics to this, so many different ways of looking at it. I'm not the be-all tell-all expert on this. I've boxed more than I've street fought. I've been forced into street fights before. I don't like it because you never know how it's going to go down. Or there's no limits, there's no rules sometimes. Sometimes people come out with weapons if they start to lose. So I am not encouraging street fighting by any means. But in today's world, we're getting more and more wilder out there. And sometimes we don't have a choice, we're backed up. I'm going to put on a diagram of contrasting boxing versus street fighting techniques. This is not an all-inclusive comparison by far, it just gives you some ideas that you can think about in your own life of street fighting or boxing. You can go from, some people go from street fighting to being boxers. Some boxers take their boxing and go to street fighting. But it's not the same. There's a lot of different aspects. For instance, when you're street fighting, sometimes we get caught up with loved ones that we have with us, whether it be our pets, our kids, our significant others. That's what I call collateral. You can't fight when collateral is there with you. So we can discuss that in another video. But there's all these things that you have to calculate real quick, not numerically, but psychologically. Is it worth the fight? That's the biggest thing. If you can back off from a fight, my suggestion is do it. You can get out of it, walk away. But sometimes these evil people will not let us out of it. Well, even if they're totally in the wrong and they're psycho, we have to defend ourselves. This is what this is going to be about. Defending yourself when you have no other option, when you don't have the walk away option. So let's look at this real quick. This diagram. Boxing by Queensberry rules on the blue versus street fighting no rules. Now, just to be brief and to introduce this topic, because I could talk about this for 4 hours, this chart alone. And there's other things that go into it. For example, there's a beginning, to me, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to street fighting. The beginning, when you make decisions about what you're up against, what you're going to do, are you going to actually enter it, and how you're going to win. You just have to think of all those things real quick. Size up the competition, size up the environment, what's going on, size up whether it's worth it or not, size up whether you can walk away or not. In the middle, when you're in the actual fight, you got to consider distance. You got to consider that you got to really protect parts of your body that boxers would never hit. Like, for instance, the spine, what we call the infamous rabbit punch. Street fighter might rabbit punch you in the back if he gets a chance. A boxer would not do that. And of course, in these times, you can go to jail for hurting someone. So there are ways of taking people down without actually doing them damage. That's what I'm going to focus on. I'm not here to tell you to hurt somebody, get into the ground, especially if you got somebody down and out. Don't kick them when they're down and out, literally. Just walk away. You proved your point, go on about your business. Then there's the end. That's what happens in the end. If you win, do you just walk away gracefully? I would. Sometimes I'd be compelled to say some smart butt thing to them just to get my last licks in, my verbal licks. But then when you end it, if you lose, I've always said, okay, enough, you're the better fighter, you're the better fighter. If I'm going to lose a street fight, I say, you're the better fighter, I get it, man, you want to continue this or not? Usually they won't. Usually if you admit to them that they've outpaced you, they've outwon you, they've outmaneuvered you, they're fine with that. Their ego is satiated. And it doesn't have to go on. Nobody gets really injured or hurt. Problem with street fighting and kid fighting and everything else is when someone gets thrown down, their head hits the concrete, they could die. They get hit in the back of the spine, they could die. They get slammed in the throat, they could die. I mean, there's several ways people can die by accident in a fight. And again, in this world of evil people that seem to be more numerous every day, They could have weapons on when they start losing. They pull a knife on you. I've seen it happen. So, always got to be prepared mentally. Physically is no problem. But the surprise of all, and most agree with this, the punch is just punching is not going to win a street fight. And that's what we'll get into later. There's a certain way you can take somebody down, several different techniques. You can take them down without killing them, without putting them in the hospital. If you want to kill them and put them in the hospital, then you're in the wrong mind. You're in the wrong mindset. I can't help you there. Take care, folks. Please continue to watch. This is SHTF Boxers and Street Fighters. This is episode number 1. Thank you. Don't miss the action. Please like and subscribe now for me, please. It keeps me in the algorithm. Otherwise, all these great videos just die on YouTube after a short time. Thank you, folks. Have an awesome boxing day. I hope you'll come back for episode number 2. We can talk about the beginnings of techniques of how to take someone down without hospitalizing them or killing them. It's very important that we don't do that. You do not want to spend your life in prison for defending yourself. Please trust me on that. So we hope to see you in episode 2. Hang in there and live the good life. Have an awesome boxing day.